Happy Wednesday. It's a wonderful Wednesday in the state of Arizona. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl, Queen Nzinga, coming to you live from Arizona. And welcome to the Attitude of Gratitude channel. This channel was created to help you manifest whatever it is that you want in life, whether the goal is big, whether the goal is humble, right? This station teaches you all about how to fall in love with the process. So if it's your first time joining, welcome. You are in for a treat and you will be ill and your life will change. It will never be the same after this. So if it's your first time, subscribe so you can catch all of my videos. I have so much great content to share with you guys, and let's get into it. So this topic today, actually it came to me not too long ago, and as soon as it came to me, I just started writing it down immediately because I was like, oh my God, this is so good. All right. And forgive me if I'm looking away and looking to you. I have like my notes of it like right in front of me. And recently, I'm always using myself, right? So I'm going to use myself as the guinea pig, right? Today's topic, right? Let's get to that. Today's topic is making the next right step count. That is today's topic. Right? Making the next right step count, right? I just want you to ponder on the title, right? Making the next right steps count. So we're not just making any steps, we're making the right steps and we're making them count. So this is really good, right? And I think you're really going to like it. I think you're going to, I think it's going to help a lot of you when it comes to decision making. I know in my last video, I had made a video about setting goals, right? And the importance of setting goals. But before we get to actually setting the goal, right, physically, right, we have to first, the very, 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 very first thing we have to do, guys, is we have to make a mental commitment first. Okay, we have to commit mentally. We have to decide up here, right, that we are going to go after whatever it is that we're going to go after. Okay, and this happens before the goal setting. I probably should have made this video first, but that's okay because you can always go back and it's good. So you got to make a mental commitment first, right? You got to agree up here first that you're going to do something. I don't care before you do anything, right? I don't care before you make a list, right? Before you start checking calendar dates, before you start even checking your bank account to see if the goal is even financially there to do. And by the way, it is. A lot of times we think that because we don't have enough money, we can't do something. If I had to call that statement a myth, that has to be the biggest myth. One of the biggest myths is not having enough money. Now, granted, there are things that require money. I'm not saying that you can just, rent out a studio. I'm not saying you can realistically, right? But not having the funds itself shouldn't stop you from going after whatever it is that you're going after, okay? So before you start doing that, before you start planning, before you even really physically move, right? You got to mentally commit. Why do I say this? Because there's going to be a lot of trying times, right? There's going to be a lot of times that you're not going to feel like doing anything, right? You're not going to want to get out of bed. You're not going to want to give it your all sometimes. There will be a lot of trying times, especially in the beginning. And I don't care, it's the beginning of, like I said, a big goal or the beginning of a short-term goal, right? Or a humble goal. You're not always going to want to do it. I don't care how riled up you get in the beginning, right? And that's good, right? Because that means that, right? Because energy, and make sure there's energy there. So that's a good thing. But, you know, we're human. So we're not always going to be, you know, happy, happy, joy, joy for the goal. So that's why that mental commitment is so important. Because when those trying times come, that mental commitment that you made with yourself will hopefully put you back on track, right? Hopefully. But the point is whether you're able to give your all the time, which you're not. Okay, you're not always going to give your all. There are going to be times when you're only going to be able to do 10% or maybe 20%. But, and I think this is a very important point that we don't talk about a lot, even on the days, guys, that you're able to just give 10% or 20%. On those days, still celebrate yourself. Still acknowledge yourself. You did something. You did something towards the goal, right? You did something towards the goal, whether it was 10%, 20%, 30%. You did something towards the goal. Because of that mental commitment, you are able to do something towards the goal. Is it starting to make sense? Right? So, yeah, in the beginning stages, there's going to be a lot of, you know, trying times. But because of that mental commitment, like I said, that is going to help you, you know, do something, even if it's just a little. It's going to allow you to, it's going to remind you. It's going to remind you, especially if it's something that you really want to make happen, right? But sometimes, right, and this is my favorite part of what I want to share with you guys today, right? How do we start to make the commitment? How do we start to make the commitment? How do we train our brain to start making better decisions for ourselves? Because what if making decisions for ourselves is not something that, you know, that we're used to doing? Maybe we're not used to making commitments, right? Maybe being a committed person to anything is a struggle, right? So where do we start? And I'm saying this because I want to touch every single person, right? I strive to be able to touch every type of person in this situation when it comes to long-term goals and short-term goals, right? What if making good decisions or being able to mentally commit is something that we struggle with? How do we start to train ourselves to start making better commitments? What does that look like? What does that process look like? Well, it's very simple, actually. It's very, very, very simple. And I've been doing it this entire time. And that's asking questions. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Asking yourself questions. Right? What type of questions should you be asking yourself? You should be asking questions about yourself. Why should be one of the words that you're asking yourself a lot when you are trying to make better decisions, better thoughts to produce better decisions that will produce better results in your life, right? How do we start to do that? How do we even start the questions? Why will be a very common word that you will be asking and using when you do this, right? I wonder why I feel that way. You know, why do I feel that way when I say this? Or why Why do I feel that way when I do that? And guys, this is simple. This does not have to be something that you gotta like, go, try to make bigger than what it is. You can start by just asking yourself questions. And once you're able to answer some of those deep questions about yourself, and you'll know, because, I know the next question coming is, well, how do I know? You'll know because you'll be able to feel it. You'll know, and you know how I know? Because you're going to get to those questions that you ask yourself where you don't want to answer them. You don't want to answer them. That's how you know you're asking yourself the right questions. That's going to help you make the better decisions for yourself mentally that will produce the next best steps that you need to take to help you get the results that you want. Okay, so that's all I have to share with you guys today. I hope my video brought you some value. I hope you guys learned a lot. I am speaking from, a lot of this is from personal experience, from myself. And even now, I never stop asking myself questions about myself. No matter how much I've practiced on something, no matter how much I feel like I know, no matter how many hours I spent on it, I still will ask myself, because no matter what, you will always be reminded. You will always be tested and reminded.